turn it on. Shoot. Oh, I don't think my mic is on. That I heard. Can I? Oh, is it gonna work? Maybe it'll work. Hello, beautiful souls. Hello, hello. Okay, so I'm just gonna say hello and chit chat with you guys while some people jump on. Today we are doing live readings. And what I'm doing right now is I'm going to check the mic, check the video, and make sure we're all set up. If you are here jumping on, chat in the comments and say hello. Yes, we are good to go. We have sound and everything is good in the universe. Okay, guys, so today is the day we are doing live readings, and you have 3 options. These are readings that you can purchase in the chat, and they are so much fun, and you have choices. So you have 3 choices of what kind of reading you can do, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to do it while we are here, because why not? So here's what you do if you want to get one of these. You go to this page, which I'm on. And let me share my screen and show you. Share screen. There we go. So you should see something like this. And then you're going to go up to this this button right here, the link that's pinned in the chat. You're going to click that. It's going to take you to this page. And on this page, what you do is you click book. Now it says 1 p.m. It's 11 a.m. here, 11:41 a.m. Pacific time. This is because if I put that, the second it hits 11:42, it's going to not be available. So they are done in the order that they are received. You click book. And then you enter your first name, your last name, your phone number, your email, and then that should not even be there. Ignore this because it shouldn't be there. And then you get to choose, Okay, then enter what month you're born, what day you're born, what year you're born, like the place of birth, what time. And then you click yes, there are no refunds, and you choose one of these 3 topics, and then you click continue to payment, and that is how it's done. So let me know in a comment below if you plan on booking a reading today. I will watch for these and do them in the order that they come in. We did these last week, and it was so much fun. And I used to do these all the time on the channel, actually, and some of you might remember this. Kathy, hello. How are you? Yes, I have not seen you on a live in a very long time. Okay, so let's get this off the screen for now. And while we're chit-chatting, I'm actually going to go in and fix that. So, how is everybody feeling post-eclipse? The eclipse was back on the 2nd, but, some people get really rattled. Sometimes it'll be like nothing's happening if the eclipse isn't really hitting you very hard. Sometimes there is a very clear absence in the house that the south node in the eclipse is hitting. This was a south node solar eclipse, so maybe an absence of something in your Libra house. Let us know in the chat while I'm fixing this stuff. Kathy, you're happy I'm doing live readings again. It is nice to be able to do them again. It is very nice. Okay, let me fix this. If I can. That's what happened. Okay. update. Should be 20. Okay. Okay, let's see what Kathy's saying here. Kathy says, guys, I've had a few live readings and normal readings from Cassandra, and she's really one of the best. Highly recommend. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, look at this. Dolly says, 8th house Libra, missing my dog that passed on 8/8. No. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that. That's always super sad. All right. So for anyone else jumping on and who maybe hasn't seen us do these before, today we're doing live readings, which means that you can actually book a reading with me and get your reading done here in real time, live. And they're so fun. And you can choose one of 3 topics. So the 3 topics we have today are blocks, blessings, or transits. So if you choose blocks, you're going to get a reading of what I see as maybe your biggest block in your natal chart. So this is going to be a in your natal chart, not what's happening now, but like what is going on in your chart. If you choose blessings, it's the same thing, but we're looking at least one of the gifts I see in your chart, one of the things that either Venus or Jupiter is helping you do. And if you choose transits, this one is pretty self-explanatory, but it's like an energy snapshot of what's happening now on your chart based on the transits. I also do what was I going to just say? I forgot what I was saying. I don't know where I was going with that, but basically, the transits is going to be what's happening now, and it's really great if you just want a check-in of how the energy is affecting you. And they're super fun. We did them last Sunday. I think we did last Saturday and last Sunday. So I always thought, I thought it was nice to have a place where you can sort of see what my reading style is like. Book a reading for $35 instead of the full price, so that you can kind of get a feel for whether you might want to do a reading in the future. And sometimes it's nice to just check in about what the transits are doing, because it makes so much sense even when you know where Saturn is hurting you, it makes so much sense, and it helps. It gives this sense of validation and confirmation and relief to feel that, just to feel like what you are going through is like connected to the universe. Okay, so I'm just checking in here. Okay, guys. So if you are more focused on timing and like what's happening right now, that would be a transit reading. So you can book that, and all you have to do is choose transits from the menu when you're making the appointment, when you're doing the booking. And so that's going to be like, it's like what's happening from the moment of how the planets are affecting your chart and how they might be showing up in your current life circumstances. So it's like it can kind of tell you what your current challenge might be based on that, and also what might be going well or what it might be a good time to do. So it totally depends. Like when Venus is crossing your ascendant, that might be a good time to, yeah, that might be a good time to get your picture taken, for example. Like some people will get like schedule their headshots at that time. You know, people people do that. Yeah, any other crazy eclipse stories? Okay. Ruben is asking, when you do readings via Zoom, are they recorded as well? Yes, however, there is always a slight chance that the recording doesn't work because of technical difficulties. However, yes, I do. I asked the person in the beginning if they want to record it, and then unless some people don't want to, my Scorpio, it's always a Scorpio rising who says no, which I love. I'm like, I ask them and they say no, and I look and it's like, oh yeah, Scorpio rising. But that's okay. If you know, that's totally fine. But yes, you cannot download them. So if I record them and you are watching the recording, lately have been using Loom. If you have a Loom subscription and you pay for that, then you can download it. I'm not trying to make you do that. It's just that that's how they do it, and so that's how that works. Yes. All right, looks like did we get someone? Dolly, yes. Dolly is first. So the way these go is I do them first come, first serve. Thank you, Dolly, for being the first. Sometimes it takes a little bit, that first person, to get that energy going. So thank you. And also, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to enter your info here when no one can see, privately, secretly. Not secretly, but just not on the camera. And then I'll get into your chart. And I'll take a look at what topic you picked and everything. These are the most fun ever. It's so much fun to give these readings. Where was I? I was here and here. And that is one of the reasons why I have you guys book them on a separate platform, so that you don't have to put your birth info in. Because I don't want everyone else up in your business. Okay. Okay, so I'm just checking it out to see which one you picked. Transits, perfect. Okay, so Dolly, yes, exactly. Okay, so for anyone else just jumping on, we are going to do Dolly's chart now. And after that, the readings are open. So whoever books next is going to be, whoops, hold on. Oh, good. Yeah, whoever books next is going to, I cannot do two things at once. Holy shit. Hold on. I need to. Okay. Yes, what was I saying? Whoever books next will be next. Readings are first come, first serve. And then if you book today, your reading will get in today. It looks like did we get another one? Yes, the next one is Tanisha. So we have Dolly, then we have Tanisha. Whoever books after Dolly and Tanisha will be next. Okay, so let's get to Dolly's transit reading. I got you in, and these are gonna just for everyone to know, I'm gonna start doing these regularly, and if you want, you can actually book it before the live even. So if you want the chance to do that, you can join my email list where I will announce it. It's good to be on the list anyway, because then if something ever happens and I get canceled because I said something or whatever, which is totally possible, then you can still find me. Okay, so I have not set the timer yet. Let me get that up. And I need to close a million tabs. Okay, so here we go. Timer. Okay, so we're on Dolly's transits and I'm seeing Mars in the 5th. So this can be nice for increased vitality, increased creative potency since like September. So think about what was happening with your 5th house, which is rules like fun, creative energy, risk. If you're self-employed, it rules your self-employment. Mars has been going through there. It just gives you more energy. If you are dating or something, it's going to be your dating life as well. And it is also, it can be that even if you're in a relationship, it can be like the dating and the romance and all that. But what I'm noticing, first of all, is that Mars is about to oppose your sun. Let's see if Mars will get to that degree before it goes retrograde. Yes, it will, because it's going to go into Leo. So we're looking at, what day is that? That's going to be the 26th of October when Mars makes that exact opposition to the sun. And we even have a couple dates before that. Let me go back. First of all, let's go back to a couple days ago when Mars opposed Mercury. Okay, so you have Mercury in the 11th, and it rules your relationships and your family and home. So maybe since like September even, a little more stress between doing what you want and doing what other people want you to do. There might be some tension around that where, Mars is inspiring you it could just be you're having fun and you're seeing people. But that Mars opposite Mercury, when Mercury rules the 7th house, makes me feel like maybe there was an argument on the 9th or a difficult conversation, or maybe you had someone cut you off or you cut someone off, like someone you've known for a long time. Again, if you're in a relationship, it might be your significant other. But if you're not, it could, and if none of this applies and you're like, everything's good, that's great. And Mars might still be stimulating Mercury and bringing more activity to dating with your partner if you're in a relationship, or going out with people, going dancing with people, doing something active with others, doing yoga in a group setting, things like that. Okay, so go on now to today. It's the 21st. Mars is going to trine your natal Mars, and it's going to then oppose your natal Venus. Dolly, can you tell me if you have time? Tell me in the comments if you are looking for love. Oh, great, Dolly, thank you. If you're looking for love, or if you are single or in a relationship, or what's going on there. Okay, one second. I'm going to pause. I want to consider this for a moment. Married, perfect. Okay, yeah, you're in that seventh house year. I had to count it. One second. Okay. Okay. Okay, so Mars trining Mars might show up as something with your health or your body. And I'm not diagnosing anything, but it could be, I mean, it could be simply you want to do more stuff or you need to do more things or you're trying to get more active or you need to get more active. If you already have inflammation, Mars trine Mars could be, I wouldn't say it will make it worse, but Mars rules inflammation. So sometimes the transits from Mars will be indicating that. But you know, for you, Mars is also your money planet. So are you in a situation where it would make sense right now that you would be making more money or you're doing like a side business or something creative where you're selling stuff? And then, okay, so either way, Mars is going to stimulate your finances and it's going to stimulate your ninth house of like what's meaningful. While Venus is there as well. So almost makes me wonder if you're going to be buying something that's like spiritual in nature that like you want to spend money on that either is going to benefit yourself, like give you something to do, like a class that you can follow things, or okay, Dolly's saying I'd like to do art for money. Yeah, I think that this could be a time where you initiate that. I wouldn't honestly say Mars in Cancer during a Mercury year when it's opposing your Mercury would be the best time in the whole world to start that. But you might already know that. So let's see what else I can tell you that's a little more interesting and fun here. I think this Mars transit, though, is probably going to be pretty significant. And then I also think Mars hitting Venus may be significant as well. And then for you, let's see, what does Venus rule? Venus rules your third house of learning. Yeah, are you buying a course? And your eighth house of your partner's money. Okay, so yeah, it's almost like you could finish a course, you could finish a book, you could finish something that's more significant related to something creative, fun, or expressive. So are you doing something to get ready to sell your art right now? And would it make sense that something gets initiated or finalized, or you stop making the art and start selling it in a different place or something? Does any of that make sense based on, oh yeah, already enrolled, just started, love it. Okay, cool. Yeah, learning about astrocartography. Okay, perfect, because Mars rules that ninth house. So it's like ninth house stuff that you're getting inspired to do, and like that you're feeling that creative life force energy to be a part of. And I wonder, let's just see if the timing tracks with Mars going retrograde and then coming back. Is this a longer course? If it's a longer course, maybe there'll be something to kind of do in March. You know what I mean? Like maybe right now you're getting ready to launch the art thing and then you launch it in March or something else like that. Really good time though, I would say, for to pursue creative things, to get the ball rolling, even if you're not in launch mode yet. Because, you know, like you said, you're in a Mercury year. Let me look at your month of birth. Yeah, so in January, that's going to change to Venus. And as you probably know, you have Venus in the 11th, which is really good for selling art. I mean, it really is good for doing art, being able to sell art. And it's just with Mercury and the sun. So I do think you have a chart that supports that, if you were wondering that. Yeah, okay. Yeah. So let me see if there's anything else and then we'll go on to the next person. Yeah, well, Neptune was on your Mars. Pluto was on your Sun. Pluto's moving into your 12th house. It matters, but it won't do as much damage there because it's cadent. And Neptune moving out of your first house, I think when it does, is going to even now, like especially with Mars being in the last few years kind of encompassed by Neptune, it could have made your spiritual path really nice, but also hard to figure out how to follow. So I think that maybe now there's a little more clarity there. And then what else do I see? Well, that South Node in the eighth. I wonder if, if you are going to really do selling art, because that South Node in the eighth house kind of might maybe since the 2nd of October, realizing ways that if you rely on your partner's money at all, seeing ways that you want to change that or where that needs to be decreased or where you want to be more independent. So that's kind of what I have for that. I'll have to stop there just because of time, but feel free to do another one of these. Even next week, there's more we could talk about. I just try to always, talk about the things that are the most pressing. Okay, thank you for booking, Dolly. Let's go on to our next person. And our next person is Tanisha. If you are Tanisha, if you're here, say hello. And I'm going to take this off so that I don't show your birth info and put it in. And whoever's next, you guys need to hurry up and book. Tanisha, wait, have I done your chart before? Maybe not. Okay, so I'm putting you in now. Okay, so Tanisha asked for blocks. Yay, fun, 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 fun. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead. I don't know, let's see. Yeah, okay, so we're gonna go ahead, Tanisha, and let me get your chart up here. There's something about telling you guys about your problems that just makes my heart so happy. I don't know why, but it feels like the thing I'm supposed to do, the thing I'm good at is like, oh, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. Anyway, let's get into it, Tanisha. And if you're here, feel free to chat and let us know. And if not, that's fine too. Okay, so we're looking at blocks. So we're looking at your natal, Tanisha, and we're looking at this from a whole sign perspective. And I'm just going to scan for what I see here for a challenge. Well, Pluto on the ascendant, Saturn, Sun. Ooh, hey, this is actually Cazimi though. This is close enough that I'm going to consider this Cazimi. It's 35 minutes, less than a degree, which means Saturn gets blessed by the Sun. Sometimes planets with the Sun are not blessed by it. Sometimes they are hurt by it when they're really close in traditional astrology. So this is actually a real blessing. But Saturn conjunct the Sun isn't great for the Sun. So that's one challenge here. The other challenge I'm seeing would be, that's probably it. I mean, as far as blocks go. So sometimes people with Saturn, Sun are going to be more responsible. Sometimes they're going to be more limited early in life in feeling their own sense of confidence. And you can develop it over time, right? But Saturn Sun can be the challenge of, being, always being sort of growing up in some kind of darkness, some kind of lack, some kind of either poverty or war in a war-torn place, you know, or like from a place where things are dark out. You know, it's just like your sun shines through the darkness when you have Saturn conjunct the sun, and Saturn represents your fourth house of family. So it makes me think you probably had a lot of responsibility to help your family or take care of your family when you were younger. And like, sometimes it's not even their fault, right? Sometimes it's like one of your parents is sick and you got to help them, or they're older and you got to help them, or you got brothers and sisters, you got to take care of them, stuff like that. So you kind of grow up with the identity of the responsible one, the one who can handle it. And while that's fine, because the sun doesn't do as well in Libra and Saturn does really well, that means your upbringing, your hometown, your family of origin did a good job of limiting you, if that makes sense, causing challenges or obstacles for you to overcome, or simply not being able to provide certain things. Okay, let me know if that makes sense. Someone who has this, a celebrity who has Libra rising with Saturn in the first, would be Britney Spears. And so that's like a really extreme example of how family could limit you, right? Her family really limited her and controlled her a lot. So it could just be that people try to control you. It can also be that you don't let them, because with Pluto conjunct the ascendant, and this is another signification of like control and power struggles, and, you know, spending time in your life trying to figure out, not even figure out, but having experiences where people have power over you and you're trying to get out of that, and also having experiences where you maybe overpower other people, right? Because Pluto on the ascendant is a very intense energy. So like when you walk into the room, even though you're a Libra rising, and Libra risings are wonderful and lovely and personable, and they are you know, just really sometimes beautiful and graceful. And usually they have poise, they have dignity, usually they are socially acceptable. You know what I mean? Like Libra risings tend to understand social graces and be able to maneuver social settings quite well. And by caring about balance and harmony and wanting to keep things harmonious and keep things agreeable and everything. So there's all this good energy from the Libra rising. But if you ever felt like you don't relate to Libra rising, it's because you have Saturn and Pluto both really changing that dynamic. So when Saturn's in the first, you become the responsible one, and it's Saturn. Your life is very much about making sacrifices. It's about stepping up to opportunities. It is about, making sacrifices, stepping up to opportunities, having to be the responsible one, having to deal with problems that maybe your family actually caused. And let's look at, I want to go a step deeper here, because the sun rules your 11th house of friends, and Saturn rules your 4th and 5th house. So this makes me feel like maybe when you were younger, you were just more isolated from certain communities, and maybe you didn't fit in, or maybe you were bullied a bit, right? With Mars in the 11th, this is like communities would have yelled at you, or worst case scenario, like try to stuff you into a locker or something. Tanisha, let me know if you're here, if this is resonating, because I don't see your comments. So you can grow up feeling isolated because you're surrounded by jerks, basically, or people who aren't safe, or there's challenges in the community. And that could just be you're made fun of a lot or something, or something. And then leading you to be more isolated. But I think there's still potential within that isolation that you could have grown and developed certain gifts because the sun is blessing Saturn. So even though family may have challenged you in terms of your identity and your development and having to take on some kind of responsibility when you're young, or take care of people, or have kids young and have to take care of them or something like that. I still feel like the sun is still giving your family life and your children, if you have them, and your creative potency a real good blessing. So it's a block and a blessing at the same time because Saturn covers up the sun and makes you a more of a loner, more of an isolated Libra, or more of a, maybe there was just a time where you really couldn't connect socially, or you've had times of isolation in your life, or had to learn lessons of responsibility or got blamed for something you didn't do by a group of people in your life. And then now there's still though this potential of your fifth house matters, which is like children, creativity. It's almost like not being able to go out in the community, but then becoming an artist or something. You know what I mean? And I don't really see artist as much as I just see someone who has the capacity to make their mark on the world and bring what they want to accomplish into being, even though it's difficult, even through the darkness, even through hard times. So that's what I have for your block, Tanisha. I hope you enjoyed this, and feel free you can comment on the video afterwards if you want to. Since I don't see you chatting. Okay, so we're going to go on to the next person. So we did get one more while I was doing that one. If you are jumping on and you're like, how do I get in? You just click the link at the top of the chat and you book your reading. So we're going to go now to our next person, which is Helana. And you pick transits. Perfect. So let me find you in here. And did we do one last week? I remember your name. Hi, me again. I'm so glad you guys love these. Feel free to share them with friends who you think would like it. I don't know what it is, but these lives on the channel, they don't get quite as much attention as I would like them to. Okay, so Helise, will you remind me who is who? Because I just got 2 bookings. I got one from Helana and I got one from Vashon. And so Helana is first, Vashon is second, but which one is Helise? Will you tell me? Because now I'm doubting it. Helana, okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And putting your YouTube handles with your names is beyond my capacity. I love you guys, but I can only do so much. I can only remember so many things. Okay, so Helana, I have your chart up here. We're gonna do transits. And let's see. Let me put it on. And then after that, we have Vashon, and after that, readings are open. So if you book now and you're jumping on the live, then you will be third in the row, in the order, I mean. Okay. Okay. So let's go to Helana. We have the chart, we have the transits, and let me just kind of see. I'm going to set the timer. And we have, Saturn is in the 2nd, so we don't love that. Jupiter in the 5th. I feel like we talked about probably a lot of this stuff. I want to go back in time with you for a second. But first, let's talk about these planets on the midheaven. Sun, Mercury, and Venus, they're not going to be life-changing stuff, right? Because they do this every year around the same time. So every year around mid-October, you're going to have the sun, especially on your midheaven, which usually means you're going to shine brighter at your work. You're going to get recognized. It doesn't always mean it's for a good thing, or there's just a little more focus on you than normal. And because Mercury just hit that midheaven, when was this? 1, 2, 3, 4 days ago. This could have been like around the 9th, like you talking more, having more conversations at work, sending more emails, things that are administrative, things that involve speaking and listening. But since this is also your 9th house, it could be you picking up a spiritual book or learning about astrology, or, just focusing on those deeper lessons. With the South Node here and the eclipse hitting that 9th house, there's a desire to move forward on your spiritual path by letting go of something. And maybe since October, there has been a chance to realize what needs to be emptied out of that 9th house, right? That's the South Node, is our desire to be more spiritual. And I mean, having the South Node in the 9th and the North Node in the 3rd is really quite fitting for a transit, because the South Node really goes there, if that makes sense, because the 9th house is spirituality. And what do we do to be more spiritual? We renounce our material possessions. We let go of the trappings of success, and we take on a more ascetic, a more monk-like quality of what matters, those inner higher virtues. And with the North Node in the 3rd house, that's bringing also your attention to matters of earthly living, day-to-day life, going to the grocery store, getting the food, going to the park, walking along the path, whatever it is you do, going shopping. It's not like the North Node just supercharged this area because there was not an eclipse in Aries. But it is as if the nodes are going to continue supporting really almost like a balancing act for you during this time of bringing that concept of release and emptiness, that spiritual concept of emptiness, to your life. Let me know if that makes sense for what you're going through. And yes, okay, we did get a bunch of new orders, so I'll go through those next. But, so yeah, the sun there is just going to be even more nice because it's like the sun in the 9th, the sun has its joy in the 9th. So it's like when the sun's in the 9th, you can take a look at your spiritual vision and the path that you're on and feel more confident in the next steps. But again, with the South Node here, it's like, all right, spiritually, what do I need to let go of so I can take the steps on the path that I'm wanting? Or where do I need to bring emptiness into my life? Do I want to start meditating more? Do I want to stop reading a bunch of little books and just read one big one? Or, something like that, where it's like, where are we not getting our bang for our buck in our spiritual practice is kind of what I feel here. Now, Venus in the 10th is going to bring a little bit of sweetness to your 10th house, but because it's in Scorpio, it's not quite as potent, but it does feel, 9th house ruler in the 10th could be your spiritual path, or what's meaningful to you is becoming more of a public thing. But it could also be something totally different because Venus also rules your 4th house of home. It could be family matters have come up and been made more public, especially like if there's a family secret, but that's not like, I don't feel that to be the strongest energy here. What do I feel is maybe, let's see, I want to tell you about this transit from the past, if that's okay. Pluto hit your Saturn back in, 2021. Yeah. December of 2021. So this would have been a time where you were kind of restructuring your reality. Now, I know that we all were in different ways, but this is affecting you very, very, very personally. And Saturn's in the 12th. That's you, right? You're Saturn. And it also rules the 12th. So it's your subconscious issues. I bet you had a lot of fear coming up back in 2021. So I just want to kind of congratulate you for making it through that transit. And just give you a little reminder that Pluto is leaving Capricorn very soon, next month, and it will never, ever do that again. As far as that goes, you're going to be done. And if you are someone who worries, like Pluto's in your sign it's going to hit your ascendant. It won't hit your ascendant for a couple years. So for Pluto, I use a much smaller orb because it's an outer planet. So we're not even looking at that change until 2027. So you have a few years off of Pluto. Actually, let me check. Let me make sure it's not going to aspect anything else before I say that with confidence. Yeah, I think you are. Yeah, you do. You have a few years off of that really, really strong energy. Yeah, going through a big change, trying to see things other ways. Yeah. Let me see if there's anything else that I see that's like gonna help. For some reason, I feel like I don't usually do this, but I want to look at your progressed moon really quick, and then we'll move on. So that's gonna be in the third house. Okay, yeah. Your progressed moon is in the third house, and it's going to be in 3 months. It'll move into the fourth house. So lots of focus coming up on your emotional foundation, what you need to feel okay, and what's valuable in your life, and like really helping sort of stabilize some of the changes you've probably initiated in the last couple of years. So that's what I see for that. We'll have to stop there because of time. And I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again, Helana. Okay. I really need a holiday off Pluto. Amen. So do I, but I'm not getting one. Pluto does make you want to take a holiday, though. But there is a positive side to Pluto, and that's when the transit ends. That is my deep spiritual wisdom for the day, guys. The positive side of Pluto transits is when they're fucking over. Okay, so let's go now to our next person, which is going to be, we did Helana. So next we're on Vashon. That's going to be, who is that? That's Chihiro. And then we have Snakebite, and then we have Paula Ramos. Snakebite, thank you. You ordered and you put your YouTube name in the name. That makes it so nice. Thank you. Okay, so anyone else watching who wants to get their reading today, any reading that's booked today will be done today, and we will be here until they're all done. So feel free to jump in. Feel free to comment anything you want to in the chat while we're reading your chart. These are so much fun. Okay, so we are going to Vashon. Oh, also I wanted to tell you guys I have a mini reading available on, it's $35, and it's on, oh, I forgot what it's on. It's on your masculine and feminine energy. So it reads your Mars, your Venus, your Sun, and your Moon. Let me put a link for you guys to book that as well for any of you who want to. And then we'll get back to our regularly scheduled readings. Every time you guys purchase this, it helps support the channel. It helps me to be able to put more time and energy into YouTube videos, because if I don't make money, I can't do that stuff. Like it just helps. It supports. It's appreciated. This is not even what I wanted to be doing. I cannot do two things at once. Don't even like try to see me talk on the phone and drive. It's impossible. I actually I got in wrecks when I was young. Your government name. Okay, so this is the featured video. I'm putting it in the chat. I think. Yes. Okay. Now we're going on to Chihiro. I think I have you in here, but yes. And you picked blocks. Okay, so we'll do the blocks in your natal chart. Let me get the chart up. I'm going to try, I think, using a new software next week. So those of you who want to come next week, come and then watch it and then tell me. You guys can tell me which one you like better, because it's a little harder to use, but it is very, the chart, I think the chart's a little bigger. So that being said, let's go on to the reading. Whoops. Oh, I need to be smarter than the software I'm using. Okay, so here we go. And we're looking at blocks in the natal chart. So we're looking at, oh yeah, Saturn Mars here. Why is this a block? Well, because Mars is conjunct the ascendant ruler. Mars is hurting Saturn, and they're connected, which sucks because what kind of block this gives you is a block of slowness. First of all, Mars in Taurus is slow. Mars in Taurus, the people I know who have Mars in Taurus tell me that they hate it because whenever they want to try to accomplish something, it takes them forever to get their head around it and like get it going, right? It's just like takes forever to get something going when a Mars in Taurus person wants to start. And this is a challenge because it's like, it's hard in the beginning. It's like you have to push really hard to get yourself in go mode. But then once you're going, you're unstoppable and you're really strong and you're really powerful. But it's getting it going. And because Saturn's with Mars, that makes it times 1,000. So let me know if you feel like when you're trying to initiate things that it takes you a long time to like think about it, to get it moving, to really start it. However, Mars in Taurus it's not the best place because it's opposite Scorpio, right? It's opposite its rulership, but it does have one saving grace, and that is that Mars has triplicity dignity in earth signs because it likes to get shit done, and earth signs like to get shit done. So you're still going to get things done. You just might not do them on a dime. Like when you need to change on a dime, that's hard for the Mars and Taurus person. Okay, so Saturn, what is Saturn doing to Mars? Well, first, Mars in the 5th house makes you this is a lovely placement actually for wanting to get the joy out of life, right? Mars in the 5th is like, what do you want to do? You want to do things that are fun and, eat good food and like, go see movies and date. Sometimes people with Mars in the 5th will have a pretty active dating life, especially when they're younger, because they have that desire, but Saturn can block it. So sometimes you might find that it's like you don't get the thing you want. Or if you want something, it becomes harder. It's like, but if you don't have a desire for it, those are the things that are easy. Oh, you have no desire to read books? Here, have a bunch of books. Let me know if that relates, that the things that you don't desire become easier. The things you really, really want, you have to work hard for. It doesn't mean you can't have them, right? Because Mars, Saturn, I have a whole video on this, is like Mars is the Ferrari, Saturn is the semi-truck, the Ferrari cannot get past it. But because you have Saturn as your chart ruler, it actually makes you more like Saturn. So it makes you more responsible, serious, dedicated, committed, thoughtful on the things you're doing, really thinking about the future and consequences. So that could be even a challenge in the 5th house of like, you want to have fun, but what are the consequences? Or like, you want to have fun, but maybe there's some self-punishment around the topic of pleasure or fun. Okay, so I'm my biggest block for dating. The opportunity is always there, but I feel like I'd be settling most of the time. Okay, so you have a lot of options you don't want. That sounds like a serious problem actually. Because let me see. Okay, yeah, well, I'm noticing too, Mars, we're just talking about your Mars mostly. I was gonna go Saturn, but it feels like it's Mars because, okay, here's why. you have a night chart, which means Saturn's worse than Mars. So what Saturn does to Mars is going to cause you more problems than what Mars does to Saturn. So what does that mean? Mars will still cause problems. Mars and Saturn cause problems for everyone. It means your Mars gets blocked, stifled, frustrated. If you feel frustrated, that's a Mars problem. And also guilt, right? Guilt, feeling guilty, saying no to an option, feeling guilty about it. Maybe even meeting partners that the ones that you say you're settling for, well, are they mean? Are they really nice at the beginning and then they get all demanding and controlling? Do you have issues with control with people you're dating or like, because it feels like you get a little bit of all these energies, right? You get some things that are fun, that are super enjoyable, that are like nurturing and you get to do and you just do them and they expand your life through Jupiter. And then Mars and Saturn coming along and are like, oh wait, you have to pay for that. You know, it's almost like the metaphor would be like, you're a kid in a candy store and you just go get all the candy and everything's good. And then suddenly you realize you have to pay for it. And it feels like there's a story here around those energies. Mars also is going to stimulate Jupiter. I feel like we've talked about this, but it's going to make that, it's like your desire to enjoy life is strong, but your ability is hindered by Saturn. So it could be, oh, I love ice skating, but my ankles hurt and I can't. Or other things like that, where you have literal physical limitations that do not allow you to do the certain things that you really enjoy. Okay, so yes, I hate any sense of control and I want to work that out before I get into a relationship because there's obviously going to be a sense of control present. Yeah, there's always going to be something. But this is like, the thing is, this is going to show up more in the dating stage. Once you get to the relationship stage, at least Jupiter is with the moon closest to the moon. So that part is good. But it's like, it still has that energy of, I think that the highest version of this would maybe be if you date like a veteran, or you date someone who used to be an athlete, someone who their discipline and control and their Martian, because this is going to describe your partner, right? So what you want is to find someone who has the highest virtues of Saturn and Mars, which is like maybe they're really disciplined in what they eat, or like that discipline is coming to somewhere else and not going to you. That would be what I would say there. And the thing is with Saturn, Mars, again, I just want you to have that metaphor, the metaphor of like a freight train with the things that you're taking action on. You might need to go a little faster in the beginning because your pace is going to be a million times slower than everyone else's. But also know that whatever you embark on in life in general, in terms of your goals and the things you want to achieve, they're going to have potential to be greater and stronger as you keep going with them. So this is not a chart of someone who I would imagine like you do something once, like you start painting and you realize you're Picasso and everything is magical. No, it's like you paint and then it's slow and you learn how to shade everything, and then you learn how to make a skin color and make all the different shadows, right? And then you learn how to I don't know painting very well, obviously. But then you learn black and white or whatever, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like your life path and your life pace might involve a bit of inner frustration. And so finding an outlet for that is also probably helpful. Okay, let me know if that helped. Let me know if that shed some insight on some things. And yeah, let me know. That's really helpful. Okay, good. Very good. Okay, so we're going to go to the next one. So let me do this again. And for anyone who still wants to book, we have time. But who's next? We have Snakebite and then Paula. So after that, Readings are open. You can still book as long as you book today. I will be here doing readings, and I was hoping to do a bunch of them today because I have the time. So let's do it. If you are watching and you booked one and you want to do another one on a different topic, you can. You are allowed to do that. Okay, so snake bite wants blessings. We can do that. We can do that. There is the link at the top to make the appointment if you would like to. So we're going to add snake bite in. It reminds me of that song. Who sings that? Oh, I haven't heard that song in years. You guys know that song? I'm not the one who's so far away. Oh, you guys know that song? Oh, who sings it? Oh, it's super old. I love songs from when I was young. They make me so happy. Okay, Snakebite, I'm just putting your birth info in here. Okay. And you want blessings. Godsmack, thank you. Yes. We need that. We need that advertised. Voodoo is the song. Yes, thank you. I have to add that to one of my playlists. It'll make me so happy. Okay, let's go to your chart. Okay. Okay, so we're looking at blessings, and I see them all right here. They're all in the 8th house, and so this, you might not love this. I'm going to be honest, because when your blessings are in the 8th house, sometimes they're tied up with other people, and you don't always get the credit for them or see them. And so why do I say I see 8th house blessings? Well, you have Jupiter and Venus both here, and Mercury is going to take on the energy of the planet next to it. So this is a blessing to have Mercury so close to a benefic planet, because that means that your Mercury gets good. Your Mercury becomes good. I think of Mercury in that sense like the grocery store clerk who's like telling you what someone said about you. It depends on the other person, right? They're just the messenger. They're just like, oh yeah, your dad came in and stubbed his toe earlier. Or they're like, your dad came in and said he was so happy to see you earlier, right? I think of this because I'm from a small town. But like, think of it like that. Mercury is the messenger, and Mercury is the messenger of Venusian things. So this is a really nice combo. So the first potential I see here, though, with Neptune and Venus and Jupiter all together, it kind of gives me an aesthetic vibe. And, this might not show up in your work. Just I'm looking at the chart to see where it might show up, but it almost feels like it gives like an artsy or an aesthetic or a psychic vibe here. So now one way it could just be like fascination with the occult, but there's a lot of good stuff here in relationship, because what will happen is you will be Venusian and Jupiterian and Mercurial and Neptunian in your close relationships. This is going to show up in deep relationships. So people with good 8th houses sometimes are going to be able to mash souls with people pretty quickly and easily, and be able to really make deep connections like that, and have good positive things come of it, have this flow. And I'm also noticing Mars. Oh, you have so many blessings we can talk about. Mars is 2 degrees of Pisces. There is a fixed star at 4 degrees of Pisces called Fomalhaut. Fomalhaut is an artistic star, but with Mars here, this is more like something like fighting or martial arts or dance, something where it is very, very physical, but you get into a flow, and it's in the 11th house. So it makes me wonder, Have you ever danced or done any kind of like performative art or anything? And it doesn't even have to be for your job, because Saturn is somewhere else and doing other stuff. But it might be that the ability to talk to people or to sort of like perform or sort of captivate a crowd might be strong. It doesn't mean you want to do that. But with Neptune squaring Mars, making that contact, sometimes it makes Mars stuff harder, like because Mars doesn't go straight for what it wants. With Neptune and Pisces, Mars will just go like a meandering, like a mermaid in the direction of a fish, right? So it can be a little harder for that stuff sometimes, but I think this is a very nice Mars in the sense that it can very much flow and very much have lots of ease. I just see a lot of ease in your chart. Doesn't mean your life has been easy, but that there's a lot of energy that has to do with flow and ease and like maybe even channeling, right? Because it's like Mercury in the 8th is like you might just know what someone else needs to hear. Sometimes though, 8th house planets are also what people bring you. So a lot of your gifts are going to come through either your partner's money if you're married or other people's money, because that's where all the good stuff is in this chart. So with Jupiter in the 8th, I have seen this be like people who can get grants or loans to do their passion work. And Venus being there doesn't hurt with that. And Mercury being there makes me wonder though, if your money is the one going to other people, because it can go that way as well. But it can also be that when you have money, you spend it on others. It really can just be that simple with the finances. What else do I see as a gift? 8th ruler in the 8th brings more, that's Jupiter, brings more attention, focus, and activity on intimacy, on having close, deep connections with people. Maybe your work requires, knowing people really well, or you do things that involve a lot of trust. And almost like not quite a counseling vibe, because counseling requires more talking about traumatic stuff. And I don't see that here, actually. I see talking about lovely things and like maybe just knowing exactly what someone needs to hear when you talk to them. So let's get a little more specific here with Jupiter, because Jupiter is the greater benefic in your chart. It is the greater benefic. You have a day chart. So Jupiter is the best planet, and it's tightest conjunct Venus, and Venus rules your 6th house, and it rules you, which means do you work in like with other people's money and like finances and stuff? I'm so curious. If you work with other people's money, Jupiter's going to help you. Or if you've ever invested money and that's something you focus on, it feels like, while Neptune's here and there's a question mark about it, it does feel like there's a potential for your life to get better if you are investing, or if you are saving, or if you are like putting your money in a high yield savings account or something. Okay, you're an event manager. Great. Okay, I can see that. Now I see that Mars is like events. Are they events where you have to create a certain vibe? Because that's what I see. That's what I really feel from this, is like the vibe. And, okay, so back to what Jupiter's doing to Venus to make it better. Venus being you, it makes you social. It makes you social. But in a way where, again, it's like social, but in a way where it's like, you just can make people feel really good, and it's almost like when you get into a deep conversation with someone, they're going to give you the best of themselves. Like they're going to show you good things. They're going to give you compliments. Jupiter Venus is a good aspect to have for anything social. It doesn't mean you are going to be social all the time, or you like to go out and stuff, because it's in the 8th house. So your social energy shows up in private. The real gift that I see the most here of everything is there is an entertaining nature, especially with Moon and Leo as well, but it's more like the ability to get into any kind of conversation and any kind of connection and like have something positive to say, be able to charm people and tell them stories or maybe have a really soothing voice, right? With Mercury conjunct Venus so tightly. And I'm going to even go as far as to say things that can mesmerize people. So lots of good gifts. And even with Sun in the 7th, there's also the blessing of being able to shine when you're in relationship, right? So like the 4th house moon, the 7th house sun, the 8th house planets, these are all very, very, very good at getting to know other people. And this is why I started off by saying you might not like the blessings, because sometimes when our blessings are the ones that shine light on others, that reflect the light of other people, sometimes we don't see them as ours, right? So sometimes you have to look a little harder to see these blessings of kind of telling how people feel, being able to read people, getting into these more private conversations and knowing people deeply. I think those are all going to be blessings for you. Okay, we're going to stop there and then we will go, yes, private person, but quite charming. And then Chihiro says, wait, playback is a blessing. Yes, the things I don't want or care about come to me like a magnet. Yeah. Okay. So that's one of the challenges with sort of sometimes Mars energy. Okay. So let's go to who's next. Let's talk about that. So we did snake bite. So the next is going to be Paula, and then we have Amber. If you are watching this video and you want to get your reading, you can choose blessing blocks or transits, and you can do it now. We have 2 more people in line, and then you'll be after that. So that is good. And then, like I said, you can choose blocks, blessings, or transits. You can use the link at the top. So Paula, you're next. Your name is familiar. Have I read for you? Let's find out. I'm going to see Paula here. Yay. It's a different poly. We got 2 polys in one day. That's a good day. Okay. Yep, you're in here. Sorry, my sinuses are killing me, so I have to drink a lot of water. Okay. And I have a weird thing of getting thirsty whenever I'm live. It's weird. Okay, cool. All right, so we're gonna do Paula, and Paula wants transits. Okay. All right. Let me get the chart up. Okay, so we have Paula. We have the transits up. Okay, yeah. Jupiter in the 7th is going to be a time where you can, being in connection with people, it's a good time to make friends. It's a good time to connect with friends you already have, because those topics will go better when Jupiter's there. You have until June, roughly maybe May of 2025 before it will move into Cancer, and book a reading before then, because that's a good transit and I can tell you when and how to get the best out of it. Okay, the eclipse in the 11th house, when you have a bunch of planets there, what does that mean? Well, the actual south node right now is not on a planet, but let's see. Yeah, so the eclipse was closest to Saturn, so we should talk about what that might mean for you. Saturn is ruling your money and your local environment, money is going to be more of a significant life area. Plus, with Pluto on that south node in the second house, going, oh, time to release money, and you're like probably like no. Although most of this is already past, but it does feel like that south node hitting Saturn is like, what? Okay, what have we been doing with our friends or in our community that we are ready to, number one, we're ready to set a new goal, set a new sight with our friendships, our community, our social life, our social obligations, especially with Saturn, and how our finances are tied up with social commitments. Let me know if this is making sense. And now this is about knowing what to release in terms of those commitments in order to proceed, or how to consolidate. If you're doing 27 things, what 2 things are the things that are really moving the needle? And this can also have to do with finances because the 11th house is second from your 10th, so it's a money house. It doesn't mean you're going to lose money as much as you may choose not to do something that was making money because you realize it's not the right thing to be doing. It can also be that you is just clarifying what's important. And right now, this does feel like a pretty busy time of year, right? Because whenever the sun goes through a house where there's a stellium, you just have a bunch of stuff you got to do. So maybe some commitments, maybe some opportunity for growth. If you own property, maybe buying some property. If you don't, ignore that. The sun hitting Pluto soon. That's going to be in around the 17th of October. So coming up, you might realize something you didn't know. Someone might tell you something you didn't know. There might be some information you get about your community or from the public or from a community member, and that's right before your birthday. So every year right before your birthday is going to be kind of a busy time where everything happens at once. And that's just normal for anyone who has a stellium to have that kind of rhythm. Okay, so then what else can I tell you? Mars in the 8th in Cancer could actually cause challenges with other people's money. Are you having money stuff coming up? Oh yeah, trying to buy a property. Sweet. Yeah, okay. So then maybe Mars in the 8th has to do with loans and stuff, financing and stuff like that, and having that area be a little bit of a challenge, even since September, right? Because September, Mars entered Cancer. If that's true, just know that Jupiter will enter that sign in May. So it might be, I'm not saying you should put anything off. I'm not giving you any advice. But if things aren't really going easily with the securing of loans or the financial side of the buying the property, or if it's taking too long, or maybe it's not, maybe you're just putting energy out there into that right now. It's totally possible that once Jupiter comes along and gets into that sign, that you get more of the goods out of that house, which is not until I'll tell you the date. The date is June 13th, 2025. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back in time. This is my favorite thing to do. And we're going to see what happened last time Jupiter was there. So you can think about what was happening in your life back then. That's what you have to look forward to. And we should do this for everyone, maybe this spring. Don't you think we should do a live reading on that and just tell everyone what Jupiter and Cancer could do for them? So yeah, for you, this was back in July of 2013. So think about what was going on in July of 2013, and keep in mind that you're in a different place now. So you're older and wiser, and you have more potential to get the most out of it based on, whatever you have established since then. Okay, what else? What else can I tell you about right now and the transits right now? When Venus is in your 12th house, usually you are enjoying your time, your privacy. So Venus has been there for a few weeks. So it doesn't mean you don't have stuff to do, but that there's more potential to do things that are either spiritual or magical by yourself, right? Scorpio. And enjoy them. Enjoy your meditations or your mantras or your magic or your prayers or your spells or whatever you're doing, just depending on what you're doing. And then Mercury entering that 12th house also puts a little more private conversation. So that could be just you being on the phone with people and not having conversations like out in like public, more private, more privacy, more private conversations, more it could be something, it could be like someone calls you about something related to this, the real estate stuff, where it's like they're giving you more information. Oh, you're saying you always get outbid. Yeah, okay. I don't think I have anything to add to that that would be helpful. But I do definitely think that it's really possible that Mercury-Pluto conjunction, the 17th, that's in a few days, you're going to get information you didn't have before. Someone might tell you a secret or something. And what else do I see? I also think Pluto leaving that second house is going to help. Okay, so especially if you're not being successful financially, or you feeling like the moves you're making financial wise are not making the impact you want them to make, they're not going the direction you want. If that's the case, I think Pluto getting out of there might help to just make that second house of money a little more stable. And it would totally make sense with that eclipse that this would be a 6-month period where you are, I don't know, like doing stuff, setting your hopes and dreams, but then letting go of something. So I almost wonder if like you get a property and then let it go, or maybe there's changes that need to be made here. I'm trying to see something else I can tell you that's a little more solid than that, because that doesn't feel very encouraging. But what I do see, here's what I see. Saturn in the 4th, your money planet, is in the house of real estate. So you're trying to invest in real estate right now. That would make perfect sense. And let me think about what else here. Let's just see. I honestly think that when the nodes get out of this 11th house, it's not going to fix everything, but I think it might help you. I don't know, there might be a shift, I think, around January, where the releasing of that 11th house of money, it moves, right? So if nothing else, and it goes into your 10th house of like career and stuff. So don't think that you have to have a bad time in that house during that transit, but it's like the South Node has been spiritualizing your money for a while. And it's like, usually that means letting go of it, or seeing how it's not being spent on what we want, or seeing ways to make it that are more in alignment. So that's what I have. That's what I have for you. I hope that was helpful. I hope it shed light on some things. And it was lovely to read for you. Thank you, Paula. Okay, let's see who's next. We have Amber. And Amber, I need a quick break, so you are next. And for anyone else who wants to go, you guys still can. You can use the link in the top to book. I'm going to use the restroom and come back, and we're going to keep going. So stay here. Please stay here. Chat in the comments. Talk to each other. Don't go anywhere. Okay, so let me see. Okay, you guys did it. You stayed. And even more of you jumped on. So I'm very happy about this. Okay, so we have Amber. And let me see. Do we still have one second. Oh, okay. I gotta fix it. I gotta open up the scheduling because I think I gotta do that. So I'm gonna do that, and then Amber, you are gonna get your reading. Okay, so if anyone just tried to book and could not, it should be open now and it should work. Yeah, and if you just tried and it didn't work, I fixed it. And let me make sure, I want to make sure that's true. Yeah, okay. And we have Amber, and after that, readings are open. So if you want to get your reading today, you can. You can. Okay, so Amber, what did you pick? You picked blocks. Let me see. I'm just going to put you in here. And then we are going to do it. Amber, you wanted transits? We can do that. It looks like Amber, can we book a reading for someone else? I don't want that unless that someone else is like with you and they're asking you to and they want to. I generally do not like that. It's not that I don't like it. It's that they need to have permission. They need to know me. They need to trust me. So it's that kind of thing. And the thing is that if you've been a client and you have like a sister, or someone close to you who would like it, that's different. But sometimes I have people who are like, my Christian brother, I'm like, your Christian brother does not want a reading with me. I guarantee you that your boyfriend might not want a reading, or your husband either. So like, this is what happens is they want to help, and I love it and I appreciate it, but it's like, that's not always good with the other person. Okay, so Amber, we'll do transits. Anyone else who wants to book still can, and we are going to go ahead and go with the reading. Okay. Transits for Amber. Well, that south node is on your moon. So when the south node hits a planet like this, a personal planet, it's like that thing disappears for a minute. So let's just go. Let me see. I think it's going the other way. if I'm not mistaken. And it's low, so let's see. Yeah, okay, so like in August, maybe your moon disappeared. What does that mean? Well, it could be the fourth house of home. Something about home was not available to you. Something about your family of origin or one of your parents was you didn't have access to. Or because the moon's in the seventh, this could have been a friendship, a friend who was not available. It could just be like your best friend who you talk to every day went on vacation, or some other absence of nurturing in some way. But that is on its way to coming back. If that's the case, usually with the South Node there, it's temporary and then it comes back. And so we're looking at, if not already back online and everything going as normal, maybe around by mid-November. And if there's nothing that comes up, great, don't worry about it. Okay, so Mars right now in Cancer is significant. It's in the same sign as your Jupiter. It's in your fourth house, so it's angular. Mars rules you. This upcoming Mars retrograde, really pay attention for you what was happening in September related to your life direction, especially the topic of home, housing, where you live, who you live with, and family. But even also your ninth house of travel, right? Because you have the ninth house ruler in the fourth. So it's the planet of travel in other countries in the house of home. So is there anything coming up around travel right now? Especially since September. And we're going to skip ahead and see. Actually, oh, okay. And then also, what was happening? What was happening last week related to your home, your hometown, your home you live in, your house, or your feelings? Was there some kind of fight or some kind of anger, frustration, or pent up energy? I got a new place and haven't moved in yet. Can I ask when? Okay, Mars is in the fourth. Sometimes you're busy at home. So like you're taking action to move. It's perfect. It couldn't be more perfect. Are you going to maybe move in before Mars enters Leo, which would be... Oh, my Wi-Fi just decided to be slow. Perfect. November. Are you going to move in before November? Because it feels like you would based on the astrology. I'm going on some trips I didn't really imagine, but agreed to do it. It'll be fun though. Okay, August 17th. All right. So August 17th, that was a different thing. That was when Jupiter squared. That was when Jupiter and Saturn were square. So you had Saturn in the 12th, Jupiter in the what? Where? I'm confusing myself. Third. So this square actually was this. Okay, so I wonder if the theme of going on trips you weren't going to maybe has, or no, this was moving, wasn't it? This was moving. Yeah, I got sick too. I got really sick at that time. Back to you though. So Jupiter square Saturn on August 17th. This cycle began in 2021. And now is like hitting a pressure point. So August 17th was a pressure point. And it's third house versus 12th house for you, but it's also Saturn, like your work and your life direction versus what you want. And it's like they're not going the same way. So it's almost like your role in life or your work, there needed to be some adjustments to what you wanted or needed to do. And maybe that theme is going to come back again in December. Okay, back to now. Yeah, it's just more energy around home that we're not going to be done dealing with. Because Mars does enter Leo, but then it goes retrograde and it comes back into Cancer. So it almost makes me feel like you will, I don't know, move your stuff in and then not move it until then, or like you move it in, then you go on the trip, and then you come back and you pack or something. Let me know if that makes sense. Work has been stressing me out so much. Oh my God, yes. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I hope you do. I hope you do. I think with the transits, maybe that will be how it goes. Maybe you get it all in, and then you have to focus on other stuff for a while, and then you end up going back and like unpacking later or something. Okay, what else do I see? Let's see if I can find something good here for you. Something positive. Well, okay, here's something nice. Even though I know you said work is stressing you out, Pluto already went through your 10th house. So you already had the whole inner crisis. Am I doing the right thing? Is my work authentic? You know, what do I need to change to have the most aligned version of my life back in like 2016? So I'm not saying you can't change your work or anything, but like all of that, you know, transformation you've done in your role in life and how you show up in the world, that chapter is going to be over at least on that layer of transformation in November. And when Pluto moves into the 11th, it doesn't immediately aspect to anything except Chiron in the second. So I would think that maybe there's going to be some changes in terms of your finances at that point. Also, Saturn going through the 12th in general is not the most hip, hip, hooray, yay kind of thing. Oftentimes you're meditating more, you're facing inner demons more, you're doing inner work, you're contemplating, you're meditating, Saturn in Pisces has the signification of authorities let us down, and this is collective because it's going through it for all of us. But when it's in your 12th house, it's even more of a remorseful or grieving or looking back on the past, looking back on the last 5 years of what you've accomplished, and maybe having a little bit of a sense of whatever that was is kind of coming to a natural end, or kind of depends on what season of life you're in here with this. But I just want to give you a heads up that this isn't the easiest transit because it's just more contemplative. It's a lot of inner work. Yes. Relocation and real estate, homes. Okay, got it. What else can I tell you really quick? And then we'll move on to the next person. I think we got another booking. Oh yeah, we got a couple more. Cool. What else is good here? Well, for something to look forward to, Jupiter enters Cancer, which is the sign of home, and that's going to happen in May. So you do have something, whatever is going wrong with home right now. I don't think this means you can't move in until May. I think there's going to be more of a blessing related to homes in May. And so ask me about that when it gets a little closer. It feels like right now things are just more active, more energized, more work going on, more sacrifice going on. And even with the sun in Libra, right, it aspected Pluto recently, the North Node recently, the moon before that. So it's like this time of year is a time for you where it's just kind of heavy, it's just kind of heavy energy. But that does change and that does shift. So Pluto's going to lighten things up next month. Mars is doing Mars, and it's just lots to be done home-wise, conflicts around home. And Venus might be helping with relationships and stuff, but you might enjoy it more. You might even enjoy things a little more in a week from now. When Venus goes into Sagittarius, it's going to hit your natal Venus. Venus for you rules, what does it rule? Money. Now, this isn't like a big money transit because it's like, do you always make money in end of October, November? If it is, then maybe that is a money transit, but otherwise it probably isn't life-changing like that. And Venus also will trine Mars later. So I feel like you're going to get more good stuff out of Venus in the next month or so. So just more feelings of like life is meaningful. It makes sense. There's a reason to be here. We have a vision for our life, etc., etc. Okay, I'm going to stop there because I feel like I've talked forever. Yeah, someone. Okay, so we do have a couple more readings that got booked. Snakebite says, whole sign is so much easier for me to grasp. I'm loving it. I'm loving it because it is really like I think to get whole sign, you really have to know enough traditional astrology. Otherwise, it doesn't pack enough of a punch. Okay, well, that could change too, Amber, because you have Mars moving into your 5th house of Leo. That's going to be like December-ish. So that, that might help you have more energy. Okay. So next we have Snakebite, and then we have Mervat. And Snakebite wants block. Ruben, you asked this earlier. What's the difference? I don't really know because I use whole sign more for predicting. And most predictive astrologers use whole sign. And I think whole sign is better. And this is what people say. Whole sign is better for things that are in the external. Placidus is great for psychological stuff, but my problem with that is sometimes with psychological stuff, it's like we can relate to anything, really. You know what I mean? So it's a little more subjective, whereas I think whole sign is a little more objective and a little more descriptive of the external. That's kind of my feeling. And no, don't be sorry. It's okay. Okay, so Snakebite blocks. Let me get your chart up again. And then after Snakebite is Mervat, and then after that we do have openings, so you guys can book. If you want to, if you're jumping on or you just feel like it. Okay, I'm like, oh wait, I've seen this chart before. Yeah, like 10 minutes ago. Okay. So we are pulling up this chart. And then what are we doing? Blocks. Okay, so let me just, oh yeah, because you did blessings. So now we need to talk about the hard part. Oh, I see it. It's right there. Let's go. Okay, so you have Mars square Saturn, which means Saturn square Mars is a tough aspect to have in a chart. It's one of the hardest because Mars is a Ferrari, Saturn is a semi-truck. When you have Mars square Saturn, you're trying to go and something stops you. But the thing that stops you is like an internal tension thing. So there is first of all, people with Saturn Mars kind of feel like it's almost like they're born waiting for life to punch them in the face. It's like you're ready for the fight because when you were young or whatever, life was a fight, especially Mars in the 11th, right? Because that's kind of like being bullied at school or like having people in the community come after you or come against you. Now, I know you said you work with groups, so that Mars is working for you, but sometimes it can work against you too. So how is it going to work against you? Well, Mars is going to mess Saturn up. And Saturn rules your 9th house and 10th house. So that kind of makes, so Saturn ruling the 10th house with Mars square it means you'd have to work really hard in your position to become an authority, and that you can do it. You can, and maybe you already are in the work that you do based on what you told me. But Mars will stimulate your desire to get to the top and to make money. Saturn the second is good because it rules your career, making money off the work you do so you can make money. That's great. But Mars comes in and is like, will make you more challenged, will give you more people coming after you, more people criticizing you. Maybe in the work that you do, you have to be ready to like defend your choices more often and fight, kind of fight for your rights, fight for yourself, kind of a thing. That can be something that happens. And Mars is your 7th house and Saturn is your 10th house, which means partners, like significant others, are going to cause problems in your work. Or they're not going to understand it, or they're going to bitch at you and be like, why do you have to work so much? Or sometimes if this is going well, it's possible that partners or other people in your life or close long-term friends could provide some, what would you call it? Like almost like when you're young and someone tells you you're never going to be able to do that, and you're just like, yes, I am, watch me, and then you go do it. That would be the highest potential of this, is like people provide that sort of, what's the word, like competition, right? Like your friends or your partners want to compete with you, or like, and maybe it's fine. Maybe you like that. But, that's the block of Saturn on Mars. But Saturn also, Mars also stimulates Saturn, which means there's more of a need for self-discipline related to finances. There's more of a need for self-discipline and an ability to step up into like a manager role when it comes to career and work and things. So that can actually be more of a benefit, although it has good and bad sides to it. And then what does Saturn do to Mars? Well, Saturn is going to slow Mars down. So in some ways, this is good for Mars because Mars can go too fast. But the way you can kind of tell if this aspect of you've worked it out or not in your life is, are you frustrated? Oh, good. Are you frustrated? If you are hella frustrated, your will is thwarted all the time. You can never get what you want. You're losing. You're not. Or you fight in areas you don't need to fight, then that's a key indicator that you haven't figured out how to unlock this and how to use it. But most people with Mars Saturn kind of naturally figure out how to use it. They just work really fucking hard, and they just apply discipline and endurance, and they endure. So this is a blessing and a curse, because you have endurance with Mars Saturn. But why do you have endurance? Because life has given you nothing but the chance to endure. So you'll be more disciplined, and you might not always be cautious in your actions, but you'll probably learn that you can't just do whatever you want. You have to do things in a way that aren't going to get you in trouble. Because it's like when you have personal planets with Saturn, you'll get in trouble. And Mars it rules your, what does it rule? It's going to rule your 7th house of other people. Other people will tell on you, or other people will get you in trouble, or it's almost like your wife or your husband or whatever will say something stupid to your boss, and then you'll have to like be in trouble for it. You know what I mean? Like it kind of gives that feeling, but, or you have to be the one responsible for them. Like you're the one who takes care of them or something. Okay. So that's the biggest block. And, so it's going to show, it's like other people and work are going to be the areas where it shows up the most, especially like the partners. It's almost like the partners you work with, you either can't trust them, or you really have to like nail them down to their word or something like that as well. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Hope that was helpful, and we'll move on to the next one. So we have next, Mervat, are you here? Let us know in the comments. No longer frustrated. Yeah. Usually, most people with this one, they have the like maturity and endurance to figure it out. And sometimes it's about putting Mars where it goes, right? And using that energy in like working out enough or doing whatever you need to do so that you don't feel that smoldering, fire from within. Okay, so going on to who's next, we have Mervat. If you want to book, you still can. I opened it up until 2. So if you guys are here and you're jumping on and you want to get in on this, you still can. We're having so much fun. Okay, so Mervat is here in the chat, maybe. I don't know, but I'm going to put you in the scheduler. Hopefully I'm not destroying your name. I do say people's names wrong as a problem. Like, this is one of my personal problems. And it's probably never going to change, but I'm going to try not to butcher it. Okay, I got you in. I do that too. Butcher the hell out of people's names. I feel bad afterwards. Okay, so Mervat, we're gonna go with it. If you're here, feel free to chat. Chat in the chat. And I'm gonna tell you about your blessings. Okay. So the blessings, you guys, are never the same. It's always just whatever I think is, whatever I see, whatever jumps out. Oh, we better get the chart up, huh? There we go. Okay, so let me just look at the chart for a second. Lots of fun stuff in here. Well, immediately, let's set the timer. We have Jupiter in the second house of money. So Jupiter in the money house is a blessing for money. And when this gets aspected by transit, you're going to get money. But with Mars, you might have to work really hard for it, or you might have to work really hard for it. With Jupiter square the sun, and with Uranus there in the 5th, it makes me feel like this actually increases the ability to make money, right? Because there's tension and there is actually, because the sun, which rules the money planet, makes contact with Jupiter, and Jupiter's in the money house. So, and the sun is the exaltation lord of the 10th house of career, and Venus is there. Venus rules the 11th house, which is a money house. I'm feeling like some of your blessings are your finances. And with Venus conjunct Uranus in the 5th, and these all making contact with the 2nd, it makes me think that maybe you do some kind of freelance work, or some kind of work where your paycheck isn't like once a week or something, where you either get bonuses, or you do sales, or you do, like I said, freelance work, or anything else where you bid a project and you get a big sum, and then you don't for a while, and then you get another sum of money. That is super common with Uranus making a connection to the 2nd ruler. So money is a blessing in your life, and it might also have some challenges because Mars is there. But overall, I would say that's my first, bam, it's right there. I also am feeling connected to the North and South Node today and talking about it, because even though I wouldn't say the nodes are a blessing, it really does help having the South Node in the 9th and the North Node in the 3rd, because the North Node is about our material world and our life and our money and our food and the things we need in life. And it's in the 3rd house of your environment. So the North Node in the 3rd kind of helps you be an embodied person. And the South Node in the 9th is like exactly where it goes, right? The South Node in the 9th helps you in your spirituality to have release. And with Pisces on the 9th,
this makes me feel like you might really be drawn to like a more of a Buddhist philosophy of emptying the mind, right? Because the South Node is about emptying, and Pisces is about the connection to all beings. That doesn't mean you're like a vegetarian necessarily, but just this really flows well. The nodes flow well with the houses that they're in and the signs they are in. North Node and Virgo in an earth sign in the third of like, let me take care of my schedule. Now with Saturn here, you could have a very, very strong sense of what you need to do every day. That sometimes happens there. And with Mars, Saturn, that's getting more into a challenge, but let's see what other blessings we can find in here. Let me see. There's some, I'm just trying to figure out which ones are going to be most like significant to your life. Well, let's do Venus, right? Because Venus is another one of the benefics. So Venus conjunct Uranus. Now this isn't like, it can have a blessing and a curse. Venus Uranus can be rock star energy, right? It can have this sense of style and aesthetic, and it can bring fun into the dating life for sure. That can be a blessing with Venus, Uranus, the sun in the fifth. The love life, the romance, the entertainment side of life can be really spiced up with these. And I mean, this might be just your appearance is more not mainstream, like dressing kind of like, not like a total goth, but a little bit on the fringe society tattoos kind of thing. But it could also be not you. It could be that you want to date people who look like that, but it could also be something else, right? It could be just Venus conjunct Uranus feels very much like I'm my own person. I express myself in my own way. I wear what I want to wear. And the sun brings, illumination to it. And it's Scorpio. So it's like enjoying, underground rock concerts, or like enjoying things that are kind of deep, dark, or otherwise unseen. There's a lot of ways we could go with that. I don't want to accuse you of things that aren't real, but Venus in the fifth can make your love life, your fun, your entertainment more enjoyable. It can make you enjoy going out and doing stuff, doing things that are fun. You can be, but it's like, I'm trying to think of how I can frame it as like, this is blessing your life. Venus will bless you in the fifth house with lots of dates that are fun and different and interesting. Venus might bless you with, even if you're married or something now, it's like, still you could date your partner and keep it like interesting and fun. And like there's an allure here. There's an allure, and it might be you. You might be alluring to people, to partners. You might find partners who are alluring. You might go on dates with very beautiful people, or like people who seem like a rock star kind of a thing. Or, Venus in the fifth can also be like your own creativity, like you sing, or you love screaming or music that screams, or, something else like that, that's more on the rock star side of you being the rock star, you enjoying and having like a passion for some kind of creative work. It could even possibly be writing music or something, but it could be something else. It could be writing anything, or it could be using your voice, or doing some kind of art. And that might not be the career necessarily. It could be, it very much could be having a career that is more like, where you're getting seen, but there's that Venus is going to make you enjoy those things, the finer things in life and the arts. But because it's in Scorpio, it's almost like if you're an artist, you're going to draw messed up alien figures, or like if you're a singer or songwriter, you're going to sing about pain or love or heartbreak or, really gross things, or like really, really hard, difficult, traumatic things. And like releasing trauma might even be like a theme of your life. So that's a blessing. And another blessing here too, and this is smaller, but it's like, it's your chart ruler. Moon in Capricorn, even though this one gets a bad rap for being, like, what am I going to call this? Not being in Cancer, right? Being in Capricorn. The moon doesn't get to be all warm and fuzzy, but what it does give you is the ability to withstand and the ability to get through things and the ability to sacrifice. So moon in Capricorn is very, very good at making that money. It's good at sacrificing. It's good at going without eating or sleeping when necessary. And that moon does really well there. So that's what I have for you. I hope you enjoyed it. And we are going to stop on that one. So let me see. I think that was our last one. If you are just jumping on and you would like to, if you are just jumping on and you'd like a reading, you need to book right now because we are going to be done soon. And so if that's you, make sure you chat in the comments and I'll make sure to keep it open for a couple more minutes. And just some other announcements, channel announcements, while we kind of see if there's any last gaspers. And there's lots of room to open, but I planned on shutting off the booking by 2. So if you are someone who's like waiting for your chance, this is the moment. This is your moment to act. And other announcements. Okay, I have some things to tell you guys. And one of those things is that there's a really cool video reading I'm doing on masculine and feminine energy. You can only get this on video. I'm not doing it on the lives. So if you want it, I'm going to show you how to get it. And if you get it, you actually get to have a 50% off a Zoom call with me. Okay, but it expires. I can't even pull up my own website right now. What is wrong with me? Okay, so I'm going to show you how to get it. We're going to do this. This is so fun, you guys. You guys need to tell all your friends. If you want to be notified about these, just in case you're not getting the YouTube notifications, you can join my email list. I'll add a link to that here in a second. Actually, I'll do that now. So here's the link to get the free guide to join my email list. And if you're watching the replay, it's in the description so that you guys can do that. And if you get on my email list, you'll get notified of everything and every time I do a sale and all that stuff. So if you want to get your video, here's what you do. You go to my website. I'm going to show you. Okay, so this is my website. You go to it and you click featured video and it tells you about it. And then you click get it now. If you want to read about it, you can. Click get it now. And it takes you to this page. This is available only through October 23rd, the masculine and feminine energy recorded video. So if you want to get it, I recommend getting it now because it will be taken off and you won't be able to get it again. Unless I open it up again, and that's like a year. So if you want it, you have to get it. And the way it works is it'll ask you to choose a time here. And you can choose whatever time, but just know that's when I email you. That's when I do the reading and email it to you. You don't have to be there. I just do that so I don't get inundated with too many videos. So I know that I'm only scheduling videos that I can do, the amount that I can do. Otherwise, I would get overrun with them. Okay, so then once you get here, it gives you a chance to put in your info. your birth time and stuff. And then you need to click that you've read and understand there's no refunds and that you're purchasing for someone else, for yourself and not other people. And then once you go to payment, I'm not going to do that because it won't let me. I haven't filled everything out. Once you go to payment, you need to make sure you choose the right amount because it will automatically set it as a tip. I didn't do that on purpose. I really did not do that on purpose. But you need to just check the amount and double check how much you want to pay. And then once you book that, you'll get an email in your inbox that tells you that you're confirmed. And then after that, you'll get an email from me that says like, your masculine and feminine video is ready, and then you can watch it. So these are not public, they are private. They're your own personalized video telling you about your masculine and feminine energy. And we're focusing on the problems, right? Like what's wrong with your Mars, what's wrong with your Venus, where you get stuck in your masculine or you get stuck in your feminine, and what kind of challenges it has. And if you have like great feminine energy or great masculine energy, I'm going to tell you about that. And I'm going to tell you as much as I can in 10 minutes about how to work with those energies. So you should book this because if your masculine and feminine energy are not aligned, it can cause so many problems. It can cause you to, and I'll give you guys the link here. Let me pull it up. So for any of you who are feeling this, you can just grab it. But if your masculine and feminine energy are not working together, if they're not in alignment, if they're not how they need to be, then you can be either pushing so hard and not getting results and like feeling like you always have to be working or, you know, just on overdrive, or you can have no energy at all and just not feel like you can even do anything. And if your feminine energy isn't working, then when good things come to you, you can't receive them. You cannot say yes to them. You feel guilty, or you doubt yourself, or you have some other like excuse that makes sense in your head why it's not okay for life to be easy. So we need both of these energies at different times. One isn't better than the other, and they certainly do not represent men and women, okay? Masculine and feminine is within all of us, and in the astrology chart, masculine and feminine is seen in our drive and our ambition and our ability to see, to visualize and go after what we want. We need the sun to visualize it. We need Mars to go after it. And then we need Venus to help us enjoy it when we have it, and we need the moon, because when our moon is working well, we are aware that we need a break. We're aware that we need to rest, and we can listen to that awareness. So if any of these planets is not balanced in your chart, it can mess up the whole thing, right? The whole system needs each planet to work in order to flow, right? You can have a lot of masculine energy and not enough feminine energy, and you'll get a lot of shit done, and you'll fight with everyone, right? If it's like way too much. Or you can have a lot of feminine energy and not enough masculine, and you just can't be bothered to do anything. And anything that you want to do feels too hard, or you can't even connect with that desire of the vision for what you want to accomplish. So that is my rant on that. You can grab the link in the chat box to get yours now. They are only there until October 23rd, so you should act now so you get that in your inbox from me. And if you want to be on the next live, if you want to get your reading done on the next live, then what you need to do is, what you can do if you want a reminder and if you want to be notified, is you can get on my email list. There's so many reasons to get on my list. I email you stuff, guys. I email you emails. I tell you stories and stuff. People respond to me all the time saying, I love your emails. Actually, let me read some. I just got one yesterday that said, this is so relatable and so universally timed. I'm sitting at Panera. I don't want to give too much of this person's information, but this was the most at peace and not so lost I felt in a while. That's what one person said. Another person last week said, I really do enjoy reading your newsletter every time. People email me back on these and are like, thank you so much. This is just what I needed to hear today. So that is one of the reasons why you should join my email list. It's not just, it does sell you stuff though. Like it does sell you stuff, but also we're going to talk about spiritual lessons and not fitting in and what it's like to try to find your purpose and what it's like to feel lost when you're trying to find those next steps and, how I found my way, and I know you can too. So go ahead and do that if you would like to. And I'm going to go ahead and close out the appointments for today. Just to make sure I do that before I even get offline so that nobody books it. Save. Okay, yeah. So if you want to work further with me, go ahead and check out the masculine and feminine readings on my website. Links are all in the description. And also get on my email list so you'll know. We're going to do this again next week. It might be Saturday or it might be Sunday. We'll do another live blocks, blessings, or transits. So also make sure you subscribe to the channel and click notifications if you want to be notified by YouTube when I'm live, but watch the channel for these upcoming because I usually will schedule them in advance and then you can click it and then you can join us. So I hope you have a beautiful Sunday. I hope you have a lovely Sunday. I hope you enjoy this week and I will see you beautiful souls in the next video. Bye guys.